like to call our meeting to order. It is 6:01. We do have a board quorum present. If you will please stand. Mr. Joe Reinhardt is going to lead our invocation, and our pledges of allegiance will be on the screen, led by Stephen F. Austin, STEM Academy.
God is great. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity for us to gather. We have a great challenge here running our district in these times, and we take all your support that we can get, and all the support of our community and our staff. We ask now that you look over the United States, look over the world, bring peace best we can to all parts of the world. Let us walk together, be one, so that we can be in your honor. We pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
I'd like to ask the board to make its way to the front as we transition into our awards and achievement time. I will now turn the presentation over to Mrs. Carla Chrisman.
Good evening, Superintendent Massey, Board President Howard, board members, staff, and guests. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Aaron Ennis, BISD's Resource Development Coordinator, to present our first recognition of the evening. Mr. Ennis?
Mr. Ennis. I know Mr. Ennis.
He's a good man.
He was a good man.
For several years now, Wood has been a supporter, partner, and investor in BISD students, staff, and programs. In November of 2021, after reviewing BISD's Solar Car Challenges team Pirate Ingenuity's amazing presentation, Wood awarded Brazos Woods Pirate Ingenuity with a $10,000 grant to assist with building and operating a fully functioning solar car that will compete at this year's Solar Car Challenge, traveling from Fort Worth, Texas to Colorado. At Wood, their leading charge statement states that Wood is a united organization with a passion for creating a sustainable future in energy and the built environment. Wood's bold spirit drives to lead the charge with actions transforming challenges into solutions, with curiosity that keeps pushing, innovating, making the impossible possible. With BISD's Pirate Ingenuity team being led by Mr. Brad Whitehead, who has spent countless hours teaching, developing, creating, and leading his class to have a bold spirit, inspiring them with creativity and innovation, the success continues the amazing investments Wood has made toward BISD's programs and mirrors Wood's leading charge statement. Tonight, BISD thanks Wood for their support towards Pirate Ingenuity's Solar Car Challenge and for their continued support towards BISD. Here tonight to accept this recognition is Andrew Dodge, General Manager, Daryl Morris, Training Manager, and J.J. Barrera, Vice President.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all for coming.
Come on down. Mr. Reinhardt, would you move over here?
You're the way. Over here?
No, over this way.
Oh, this way.
The other left. Taking on. No,
The other left. Andrew's fault.
Let me keep moving around.
All right, let's go.
I'll get a couple. Make sure the certificate's up, yes.
pleasure of recognizing a group of volunteers that give countless hours to the students and staff in our district without compensation, and they do it for the love of our students and staff. The state of Texas designates School Board Recognition Month every January. At this time in BISD, we would like to express our appreciation for this very special group of volunteers. In Brazosport Independent School District, we are grateful for their service of these fine community leaders. And in BISD, our school board members tackled very difficult decisions, shoulder enormous responsibilities. This team is elected individually, but works in concert with one another to establish the policies that provide the framework for all of our schools. They provide vision and leadership in their roles as advocates, and they stand up for public education and guard against anything that takes away from our children or undermines our schools. In honor of this occasion, Superintendent Danny Massey has declared in a proclamation, whereas Brazosport Independent School District is setting the standard for educational excellence with the mission to graduate each student to be future ready, and whereas in Brazosport Independent School District, we believe every child deserves the highest quality education. We believe everyone is accountable for student success. We believe students find purpose through connections with their schools. We believe collaborative partnerships are vital to strengthening the learning experience, and we value and support the contributions of our staff. And whereas the Brazosport Board of Trustees navigate carefully and work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to ensure that BISD will have a rigorous and relevant learning experience to ensure that every student will be future ready. BISD learning environments will be safe and conducive to learning. BISD will promote, communicate, and market the accomplishments, achievements, and successes of students and staff. BISD will exercise fiscal responsibility to ensure financial strength and provide the resources to equip and maintain quality facilities and educational programming. BISD will recruit, develop, and retain highly effective staff, and whereas the Brazosport Board of Trustees, as strong advocates for public education, are responsible for communicating the needs of BISD to our community and the public's expectations to the district. Whereas the Brazosport Board of Trustees together rise above all obstacles so that every student has the opportunity to fulfill their highest potential, where from here, anything is possible. And now, I, Superintendent Danny Massey, do hereby declare my appreciation to the members of the Brazosport Independent School District Board of Trustees and proclaim the month of January 2022 as School Board Recognition Month in Brazosport. I urge all BISD students, parents, staff, and community members to join me in recognizing the dedication and hard work of our Board of Trustees. And he goes on, in official recognition whereof I hereby affix my signature this 24th day of January 2022. Danny Massey, BISD Superintendent of Schools. Around the room, around your desk, on the dais, you see mementos from our schools who greatly appreciate the hard work that you do. And also in acknowledgement of what you do for their students and for their staff, a book will be placed in our libraries in your honor at an age-appropriate piece with your name affixed to the label in your honor. We want to thank you, the ISD Board of Trustees, for advocating for all school children in the Brazosport community and beyond. We are grateful for your service. May we do a picture, sir?
You need to find cigarettes.
Oh, we'll do a picture. Oh, I thought we were done.
Come on down.
Front row.
Front row.
As long as he has to go back up.
Can't blame me, though.
Thank you very much.
Mask down for a moment.
Where are
Make
oh,
you
there
Hold
you
your
go.
breath.
1, 2, 3, and my second
cannot be with us, and Ms. Clark, who's not with us this evening. They're both very dedicated board members. As always, this is the end of our recognitions, but February will be here soon, and we have more on the horizon. Thank you.
At this time, in accordance with BISD local, the board will provide an audience with individuals who have signed up prior to the meeting to address the board. Tonight, we do not have any requests, so we will move on to our next agenda item. We have a public hearing. Ms. Sherry Phillips will come and conduct a public hearing to discuss the ESSER 3 use of funds plan. This is a public hearing, so audience participation is invited at the conclusion of the presentation.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce our Federal Programs Director, Ms. Sherry Phillips. Ms. Phillips joined our leadership team this past August. She previously served at Brazosport ISD from 2008 to 2013 as the Assistant Principal of Brazosport High School, and also in BISD as an Academic Intervention Coordinator. For the last 8 years, she has served as an Assistant Superintendent in Danbury ISD. We are thankful to have her back in Brazosport ISD, and at this time I will turn it over to her to conduct the public hearing. David, presentation.
You went to get a bite to eat.
One second. We'll have it up.
It's okay, Sherry, it's the first night.
Okay. Good evening, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight to conduct a public hearing on the use of funds for the final one-third allocation of ESSER 3 funds and to review the safe return to school and continuity of services updates as required under the program guidelines. There's no changes.
You have to change it there, yeah.
Okay, the following is a review of ESSER funds that have been awarded to Brazosport ISD. ESSER 1 in the amount of $2,040,576 has been completed and is no longer active. ESSER 2 in the amount of $9,415,415 is active from March 20, 2020, which is the pre-award period, through September 30th, 2022. And if needed, a carryover year is allowed, which will end September 30th, 2023. ESSER 3 is active from March 20th, 2020, which is pre-award period for the pandemic, and through September of 2023. If needed, a carryover year is allowed through September of 30th, 2024. The original amount of ESSER 3 was increased by $6,831 when the final one-third of the funds, $7,055,393 were released in December, making the final amount of the award $21,152,516. ESSER 3. On June 21st, 2021, a public hearing was held to discuss the ESSER 3 funds that would be available to Brazosport ISD and to discuss the purpose of ESSER 3 and stakeholder feedback. On July 27th, BISD submitted a grant application for the first two-thirds of the original $21,145,685 that was allotted in the amount of $14,097,123. The U.S. Department of Education only released the first two-thirds of the money at that time. On December 17th,
2021, TEA posted a notification that the remaining one-third funds had been released along with a slight increase and was available to districts for an amendment to the original application. A notice of public hearing was posted to the website in December to provide an opportunity for public comment and questions, and public hearing this evening is to discuss the use of the final one-third allotment that was released in December, as well as the safe return to school and continuity of services. The use of funds document that the board was provided a copy of is a requirement of the ESSER grant. It has been revised to show the ESSER funds and how they're allocated to date, including the one-third allotment and the increase. A list view will be on the next two slides to show the allocated amount. This document is required to be reviewed every 6 months, and if it is revised, a public hearing is scheduled to provide an opportunity for public comment and questions, as well as to keep the board informed. The revised document will be available on the district website in English and Spanish after the public hearing. This is a list view of what is on the use of funds document to show where, and this is the total 2 years of what's been allocated, this year and next year. These funds are currently allocated but subject to change based on ongoing needs. The amounts shown are for the 2 years of the grant. Budget planning spreadsheets have been created for the district and for every campus to communicate the amounts allocated. District administration and each campus principal utilize the budget planning sheets to plan for and allocate funds to meet the needs identified through the district and campus improvement plan. So this is the list continued. And you'll see at the top the pre-award. That was so that the district, when the pandemic started, they were able to use funds for the needs they had at that time. And at the bottom of that list, you'll see carryover dollars. Those are funds that have not been allocated yet but are available for use. And should we not use them in this next 2 years, there'll be a carryover year where we still get to use them. The use of funds list, all stakeholder feedback was gathered prior to applying for the grant, and it is also reviewed every 6 months along with the use of funds document to ensure that funds are allocated to the areas identified. Each campus in the district identified needs through their campus improvement planning process. So when we look at the use of funds, we also look at this to make sure that we're allocating the funds on those areas that were identified. Another requirement of ESSER 3 grant is to develop a safe return to school and continuity of services plan. This plan is required regardless of whether or not a district has already returned to school. The purpose of the plan is to address how the district will keep students and employees safe due to COVID and how it will provide continuity of services. The district must post the plan to their website in English and Spanish, and TEA will monitor the website for compliance. So that's the link on our website. The plan must also be reviewed every 6 months throughout the life of the grant and updated as needed to reflect CDC or TEA's changing guidelines or changes to the continuity of services. It is posted on our website and available to parents in English and Spanish, as well as reviewed by the Texas Education Agency. The district must also provide for oral translation upon request, as well as provide an alternative format accessible to a parent with a disability if requested. The plan was updated in January to include any new guidance and a continuity of services statement. The public hearing notice was posted in December to provide an opportunity for feedback and/or questions. This public hearing provides another opportunity for questions as well. A reminder that all ESSER funds are temporary sources of funds, and we plan so that when the end of the grant comes, then we will not have any funding deficits. And at this time, I'll take any questions.
Any questions from the board?
I'm just pleased that it's designated needed to go to students and to their service, and not to anything else. Everything is in support of the students or directed to the students, and that's the key to this entire program.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board or comments from the board? From the audience? Any questions about our presentation?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. Are there any items to be pulled from the consent agenda? All right, do I have a motion then to approve the consent agenda as presented? Moved by Mr. Reinhardt, second by Mr. Dunn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. That carries. Thank you. Next item that we have on our agenda are action items. Public comments will be allowed before a vote is taken on each item. Our first item tonight at 8A is the English Second Language Stipend. Ms. Kirschner.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to present to you tonight regarding the ESL stipend program addition to the 21-22 compensation plan. In response to our performance level 3 rating in the area of TELPAS for results-driven accountability, administration has prepared a stipend proposal to address the need to increase certification and results in support of our English language learners. Chapter 44 of the Texas Education Code and the 21-22 board-approved compensation plan allows for the Board of Trustees to review and modify stipends and incentives periodically. In addition, administration reviewed available funding to support this initiative and determined the utilization of ESSER funds was allowable to address educator shortage areas, including expanding student access to well-prepared and diverse workforce. Texas schools are required by the state to provide English as a second language services to students identified as English language learners, and they are assessed with TELPAS, the Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment System. Student growth on TELPAS is one of the requirements of the state accountability system, which additionally factors into students being able to exit the ESL and bilingual programs. This strategy to increase the number of ESL certified teachers positively impacts our English language learners and provides the opportunity for our students to receive services by their English or reading language arts teacher. This bar chart shown is the current ESL certification status of teachers at each campus. We have a total of 373 staff that are currently ESL certified, and of those 373, 316 of them are classroom teachers. This is approximately 30% of our teachers throughout the district. Brazosport ISD currently serves approximately 1,466 English language learners. On the next few slides, I will provide an overview of the ESL stipend proposal. To retain and recognize current employees within ESL certification and or those who obtain their ESL certification, administration recommends that all teachers who are currently certified and or those who obtain their ESL certification to receive a one-time $500 stipend. Those teachers who obtain their certification will also be reimbursed for their certification exam, which is a one-time reimbursement, and associated fees to add to the newly obtained certificate of that teacher. This stipend would be applied through the 22 and reimbursement would be applied through the 22-23 school year. In addition to the ESL certification stipend, administration proposes a performance-based stipend for TELPAS results. To be eligible, all 7th through 12th grade ELA teachers who are also ESL certified will receive $100 per English learner that shows a year's growth on their TELPAS composite score. This stipend would also be applied to the 22-23 school year. recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the addition of the ESL stipend and the TELPAS performance-based stipend to the 21-22 compensation plan as presented, with an approximate cost of $400,000 utilizing ESSER funding. I would like to take a moment and recognize Ms. Rita Cundiff and Ms. Rebecca Kelly for their collaboration as we prepared this proposal for you tonight, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions from the board?
Just a quick comment. I just want to add, we as a board have tried many times over the past few years to continue to find innovative ways to help increase teacher pay and with stipends and incentive bonuses and opportunities for them to earn extra money, and it's another great opportunity for us to do that, which is a program that we obviously benefit from getting those students through this program and into regular classes and so on and so forth. So, I applaud you guys for coming up with another great idea on how to do this.
I've been out in the classroom for several years, but even back when I was there were so many kids that needed this service that didn't get it, and they somewhat faked it, I guess, to try to get by. And because teachers at that time didn't have that many ESL teachers, and so I'm pleased to know that we have 316. Hopefully this will increase the interest in those that aren't, the opportunity to do so, because you have to teach who's in the classroom. You don't teach who's not in the classroom. You teach who's in the classroom, and that's the most important.
Any other comments?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was just looking back on 2019, I think we had 1,558 identified, and now we've got, 1,400, so it's pretty much steady in the outlook. I've asked this question many times over the past years. How many do we have, and how can we improve it? So, this 316, is that about, what percentage is that?
Approximately 30%, a little shy of 30% of our certified teachers.
Yeah, so definitely we need to see, this program needs to be evaluated to make sure if it has made a difference. Because I'm not sure, I didn't have the breakdown the last time we looked at it, so I was wondering, I don't know if we have actually improved over the last several years. Just to point out, the certification and the $200, that's always been there, that's not new.
Correct.
We're just continuing that, okay. But the $500 will make a difference. So I think we need to look at it and see how much progress we've made, or look at this.
We'll be able to provide some annual metrics once we pay out the stipend, and then once we pay it out for any of those who earn it throughout this time period, and we can look at that, periodically through the end of next year.
And our TOPAP score should tell us something at the end of this.
I think
I hope so. I'd kind of like to see the TOPAP. I don't think we've seen those for a while, have we? So anyway, I'll put a request in.
Christie, have we, so I can understand, this is funded by the ESSER fund, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
This gives us an opportunity to determine if the need is there for us to, in future budget periods, to see if we need to maintain that through the regular budget after, gives us the opportunity to do that.
Do we have a target we're hoping to hit with these?
Well, Ms. Cundiff can correct me if I'm wrong or come up if you'd like. The requirement, we really need all of our elementary teachers to be ESL certified because they teach multiple content areas, and then secondary, the requirement is for the English language arts teacher, but of course, if we have any of our others.
Sure.
Yeah. So focusing on those first.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, of those that are certified, that includes our bilingual teachers, because our bilingual teachers are also ESL certified, and they have had to support in some areas where we didn't have certified ESL teachers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I will say this, the core teachers need the opportunity to get this ESL certification. Not just, the English teachers, yes, but the core teachers, it needs to be a big thing. In the classroom, it's essential.
Haven't we had a discussion before?
8 years, right?
No, but some other districts actually require this as part of their ongoing training, so it's.
And And that will also be part of our recruiting strategy, is we'll be able to add that addendum to any new contracts that come about to require. We're also seeing a lot of our university-based graduates new to education. The ESL certification is required from their program before they can graduate. So that's a big one.
So this was one of the original reasons we started to go this way, wasn't it? Campus, yeah.
Yeah, I've asked this question before.
But the ESL certification,
We're trying to get ESL
cost
certified.
will be
I mean,
provided for
different
all
ways.
teachers that want to get certified.
Do what, one more time?
The ESL certification for any teacher that wants to be certified.
Okay.
Okay.
So do we have a breakdown of the 1,400 plus ELLs, or the term keeps changing?
By grade level,
Well, no, by bilingual or ELL?
bilingual or ESL, yes, sir. I can definitely get that to you, numbers.
Well, it was about, last 2019, it was not close to half, but
We did see a decrease in number last year, mostly in our younger grades, in our pre-K and our kindergarten, but we have seen an increase in those programs.
Any other questions from the audience? Is there any questions? All right.
Thank you. Want to go back to the recommendation?
Yes, ma'am. You want to read it? or-
Sure, I'll read it.
All right.
Yes, sir. Administration recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the addition of the ESL stipend and the TELPAC performance-based stipend to the 21-22 compensation plan as presented with an approximate cost of $400,000 utilizing ESSER funding.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right.
I'll second.
Moved by Jerry, second by Mr. Reinhardt. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. All right.
Thank you.
Ma'am. Next item we have on our action item is the order for a school board trustee election. Ms. Kelly.
Sure. So the following is in accordance with Board Policy BCB Legal and Section 3.004 of the Texas Education Code. Tonight, it is my pleasure to present the order and notice for the Board of Trustees to hold an election for the school board trustees on May 7th, 2022. Brazosport ISD Board of Trustees serve 3-year terms to single-member districts. An election for trustees elected to District 4 and 5 must be set. Therefore, the order and notice for the board is presented in your board packet for an election to be held Saturday, May 7th. Applications for a place on the ballot may be obtained from the Secretary of the Board through my office here at the Administration Building. Early voting will begin on April 25th and end on May 3rd. The election will be held May 7th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. At this time, Administration recommends that the Board order an election for Saturday, May 7th, 2022, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the purpose of electing 2 trustees to the Brazosport Independent School District. And that the Chief Financial Officer be instructed to post a notice of the election and have an election notice published in accordance with the law. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Any questions from the board?
Move for approval.
Any questions from the audience? All right. Hearing none. It's been moved by Mr. Swartner and seconded by Mr. Reinhardt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay? All right, that carries, thank you. We do not have any items to be pulled from the consent agenda, so the next item that we have on our agenda are our reports. First report, the bond planning and construction update. Mr. Al Jornay, very dapper.
You got both shoes on, or you got a boot?
I got both shoes on.
All right.
Hopefully it's gonna stay that way all year. Good evening. In accordance with Board Policy CB Local, it is my pleasure to present the planning and construction update for the 2014 and 2019 bond programs. As of January 19th, for 2014 bond, we've completed 83.95%. For 2019 bond, 61.22% completed or in progress. This slide shows the current project timelines. This slide shows the current bond projects. This slide still shows the summer 21 projects. We'll probably take that off next month. We've got a few minor little things that we still got to complete over at the Freeport Intermediate football field, but it is being used and the You know, I talked to the transportation director the other day. He had not, but he was ready to.
It looks ready.
It is, oh, it's definitely ready.
Drive by it every day.
Yeah.
It's ready.
It's ready. This slide is for Brazos Wood Main Campus. This is a current aerial photograph. And this is the main entry into the new campus. This is looking over by on the west end of the building at the front. And this is looking at the front, showing the new name of the school, not the new name, but the new letters that have been on the school. This is looking from the current field house, looking towards the outdoor dining area and outdoor art area. It leads into the indoor dining area and dining commons. This is the outdoor dining area, and as you get down towards the entry, it becomes a multi-level area that's covered and some open area as well. It's really pretty cool. This is over by the auditorium. This is at the main entry of the auditorium. And then this is looking from the west, looking towards the auditorium lobby. This is over at the main student entry. And this is once you go in the front entry past the security vestibule, that's the stairs going up towards the second floor with the office area to the right. And this is a view from the interior of the reception area. There's already carpet on the floor in many areas of the first floor, and that's what the plastic is on the floor. This is the learning stair. There'll be wood on that stair, and then where you see the white on the left-hand side, that's the actual stairway going up to the second floor, and that's terrazzo, which is already in place. This is in the indoor dining commons with the serving area to the left. And this is inside the serving area that'll have monitors with the different items that are being served. I think there's several different lines that are there. And that's a folding glass wall. When it's open, it'll be completely opened up. This is in the AV classroom. This is just a small part of it. That's, I guess, their control booth, as it would be called, looking out into the room. And this is a typical classroom. This is one of the art classrooms. And this is one of the life skills labs. This is in the main corridor that runs the whole length of the campus, and again, it's much wider than it looks at the picture.
I won't ask you that anymore.
Well, I said this morning if I stood out there and took a picture, it really wouldn't look very wide. This is the choir room. And this is the band hall.
They don't have to mark in the parking lot anymore. They mark in there.
I thought the same thing. It's really impressive.
That's big. That's nice.
And this is for the drum corps. Not the drum. It's for.
Percussion.
Thank you very much for saying that. Percussion. I said that right this morning. This is the black box theater. All the plastic that's on the walls, that's covering up the sound panels. This is the lobby to the auditorium. That blue tile is really, as I say every time, these pictures just don't do any of it justice. This is in the control room in the auditorium. And this is looking just outside the control room towards the stage. Another view of the stage. It's hard to not get emotional when you start seeing things like this because it is just that impressive. This is in a stage, on the stage, and you can see all the rigging and conduits and all on the walls. It's almost a piece of art itself, how all of that comes together. They they've done a really nice job installing it. And then up above is the catwalk that runs across the top, and there's a lot going on up there as well. This is a view from the stage looking towards the front. And this is the dance classroom, dance and cheer. And that's a wood floor. It's got a lot of cushion into it. It actually bounces a little bit. This is the dressing rooms that are behind the stage. And this is from the second floor looking down into the front lobby. And this is the typical corridors. There's the flooring's not down in this one yet. It'll have LVT vinyl tile down on the floor, so it'll have a lot of accent colors and such in it. And this is the library. And this is the second floor administrative office, or administrative reception, I should say. This is another typical classroom.
It's a little different than the old typical classroom.
Yes, it is.
I'm just saying.
Very much so.
No raccoons?
Yeah.
This is, we'll move over to the new Technology and Resource Center. This is the view over on Brazoswood Drive at the new parking area that was added. This is inside in the security vestibule. And this is the corridor with technology offices on the left and the police department and the command center and conference room on the right. This is a view of the conference room and command center. It becomes a command center as required. And this is the technology space where the modular furniture will be, where the technicians will be working. And this is the main warehouse. And I don't have a picture in this group, but there's also a warehouse in between those two large spaces. And these rooms are much larger than it looks on these slides. This is over at Tennis. This is showing the parking lot that's been completed. I don't think it has been striped yet. And this is another view of the building. I want to add that there will be graphics going on these buildings, and so it will really dress them up quite a bit.
The gray will go away?
They will be covered with a lot of beautiful graphics.
Cool pride, buck pride.
Kind of reminds me of the Army.
That's better than what other comments have been made. We still have to get the gutters on there and the flashing around the trim. This is the interior pathway that goes in between the building with the coaches on the left and the locker rooms on the right. And this is inside in the coaches area. And we'll move over to Brazoswood Baseball. This is in the bleachers, of course, looking towards the new press box and over towards the field house. And this is the field house looking at the end where we added the new addition. And then this is looking from the field side. And this is the corridor that runs in between from the existing building and the new building. And this is the locker room. And this is the storage unit similar to what we have in the Brazoswood field house. And then this is showing the repaved road, service road that we have that goes from the new bus loop. And then we also replaced the sidewalk and widened it that goes from the ticket booth into the field area. So it's a big improvement over there. Over at Brazoswood softball, that is finally starting to come together and nearing completion. This is the main entry that'll have an archway over the top of it. And this is a side view looking at some of the bleachers and the press box, and also the fencing that runs alongside right up against the bleachers. That will have graphics. There will be a lot of graphics over there as well as on the back of the press box. that will be lit at night, and you can see it from the road. This is another view from the side where you enter the bleachers. And this is inside the press box. And this press box is identical to the one that's at baseball. And this is looking out towards the field with all of the new fencing. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
No pictures of the tennis locker rooms?
Yeah,
You showed it.
I think I did have one in there. The lockers are delayed. They're sitting on a truck for all of these areas. The lockers are sitting on a truck in Florida waiting on a driver. They've been sitting on a truck in Florida for 2 weeks.
I thought you were saying they're waiting on a boat to load the truck.
No,
on that
they're
train in
they're actually on a truck. I know I had a.
I think we deleted some of them.
Did I?
There's just
Yeah.
some toilets and some other fixtures that still need to be installed, as well as the lockers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a concrete ledge waiting for the lockers.
Not a lot
sit
to
on
see
top of.
right now.
Okay.
And we've got a timeline in place for the Brazos side of the district, bond projects too, right?
Yes, sir, we're currently in design phase on all of those projects.
Any other questions concerning Mr. Jarding's
When we-
presentation?
When we do start demoing the original Brazos building, I've had several requests from folks about wanting bricks.
I've already warned the contractor because I knew that would come.
Okay, just so we keep that in.
We have a
Because
We did that for all 5 of the elementary campuses, and we'll continue to do it for Brazos High School.
I've made promises.
And we're gonna do one last look too.
I wanna know who bought the first seat on the first row on the right side of the, Brazoswood Auditorium that never worked.
We did auction off several of the old, seats out of the auditorium when they were removed, yeah.
I think the Martins bought several.
Sorry, no, I sold them, sorry,
Sold
sold
them?
them, sold them.
Oh,
For-
yeah, we sold them.
Yeah.
Those are some fine seats.
Any questions for Alan? Any questions from the audience? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Next item we have under reports is the board committee reports. Do you have any?
I would like to once again commend Esther Oliveris and her staff at Freeport Intermediate for the pancakes with Santa. Once again, Mother Nature stepped in along with another round of the pandemic. Esther had 200 names. That was just the names of initial names. And if those kids had siblings, she bought gifts for those too. And so the entire Freeport Elementary cafeteria tables, all the tables were full of gifts. Chris came by a little while, Danny came by a little while, and you know, Esther doesn't have to do that. She does it smooth out of her heart because that's the kind of person she is. We need to commend her every time we see her. But she does a gem-up job.
All right. Any other comments, any other reports from the board? Next item we have is our work session discussion. Our next regular scheduled board meeting will be February the 21st. Next on our agenda is executive session. It may be called for the purposes permitted by the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 through 551.146, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, Section 551.071, on any agenda item, Section 551.072, for the purpose of discussing the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, Section 551.074, personnel matters, appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, dismissal, or complaint, and Sections 551.082 for the purpose of considering discipline of a public school child or complaint or charge against personnel. We'll be back. 7:30, and we are returning from executive session. Unless there are any objections, then we will stand adjourned.
I'm gonna stand
Thank you. Cynthia went and got these boxes